Wait, don't turn the channel. You've tuned into High Gravity.
The show where we talk about beer, brewing, and whatever else.
Where the only thing we take seriously is the next round.
So grab a glass.
Fill it with something cold.
And enjoy the show.
Well, Darrell, you lose the bet, and we're starting. So first and foremost, I promised this last episode. I apologize, I forgot to give you a shout out then, but we're doing it now. So this is like several weeks, actually probably about a month after he posted it. My apologies for the delay. So this goes out to user Port-Shift. He gave us a 5-star review, and in combination with his review and some others, we have a solid 5-star rating now.
Oh, we appreciate it.
Yes, absolutely.
It's great to have a review, so early on and get to hear back from people.
Oh, and read, if y'all want to leave us reviews, obviously like, share, follow, spread the word that we exist, please.
Yeah, we appreciate honesty. We are not thin-skinned individuals.
Yeah, and we'll give you a shout out, and I'll read the review here. So really enjoy the brew talk. I've homebrewed off and on for a long time. It's refreshing. Good to hear others talking about it. Johhny, I'm happy to hear your voice on the cast waves again. Spared me to keep working on my Jeep, and now thinking of cleaning up my brewing equipment and starting another batch, probably a porter.
Do it.
I appreciate the kind words. Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. And we'll do a subtle cheers to you, sir.
Oh, we finished our mouth-watering test beers. We need to get into the
Yes, we did.
the action.
Oh, well. And then I'll say before I segue into our next beer here, I'll say that anyone else, who has dusty brewing equipment sitting in their garage or whatever, get it out, clean it off, make some beer.
Or shoot us a message. I mean, we might be interested.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe one day we'll host a high gravity brew day, and we can come out and everyone's got to brew a big ass beer for us to try.
And if you got home brews, we're definitely interested to try those out. Let us know what you got. We'll see if we can set you up for an episode. Maybe have you on to talk about it, or just give us some notes about it, and we'll review it. If it sucks, though, we're going to call you out for it.
We'll be nice about it when we call you out.
Maybe.
The compliment sandwich.
It depends how bad it is.
You made what's technically a beer, and that's my only good note. Let me tell you more about this. But that's the thing about homebrewing. There's no such. It's the Bob Ross approach. There are no mistakes. As long as you pitched yeast into something with sugar, you made a beer. And if it's sour, if it tastes like shit, it doesn't matter. You made a beer.
So
learn from it.
When I was doing the beer judging class, I brought the first thing I ever brought. What the hell was it called? I'd have to look back at my notes. It was supposed to be, I think, like some kind of Bud Light clone or something. And I bought,
off on the wrong foot.
It was a kit I bought at a yard sale for like $5.
Worth it.
The yeast was bad. It was an extract kit. The extract was in a metal can. And it just tasted tinny to me. I didn't like it.
Bud Light tastes tinny.
Oh, yeah. But I didn't like it.
Sounds like you succeeded.
So I was not happy. It carbonated and it fermented. And I was happy with that because I'd never done a beer before. I'd never done anything on my own before.
My first beer tasted like a loaf of bread.
And I brought this to the judging thing. I'm like, this sucks. And I was not happy. And everybody pressured me to bring it. We'll try it. We opened it. We passed it around. I probably have the notes buried somewhere from that day still. They're like, they tasted the tinny. I'm like, so it was an old extract, which is why it had that taste. It took on the metal from the can. But like, no. This is exactly what it's supposed to be. You did everything exactly right. I mean, I put fresh yeast in it, obviously. I'm like, no, you did everything right. That taste is just because it was in a can. And it was one of those moments, like, you think something sucks that you make, and then you just get that other input. It's like, oh, cool. And that kept me going.
Whatever. If people want to drink the beer, there's a new brewery that opened up in Chesterfield called Tombstone. I joined their mug club because it was a really good deal, but their beer was phenomenal. And they were talking about their IPA. They did 7 barrels of this IPA. And he says, we were drinking it. And he's like, we didn't like it. He's like, you could sell it. Like, there's a lot of people that would probably drink it and think it's just fine. And he says, but we didn't like it. So he's like, so we dumped all 7 barrels down the drain.
But it stamps you. The same thing we do here. We don't like it. Drinking it dumps.
And it's just.
Or we drink it in the back.
The commitment to quality. And that's, I'm fine with that too. I always had, in my kegerator, when I had my 7 taps, one tap was called Tyler Brow. Because I got a buddy named Tyler who he would drink a lot of beers, and he wasn't necessarily discerning or picky because he would always ask me, which keg are you trying to get rid of? Which tap are you trying to get rid of?
That's how I am anywhere I go because I feel bad drinking everyone's good stuff.
So I made one tap. I'm like, this is either, and a lot of times it was good beer. It was like, hey, this keg is low. I'm trying to work this one out so I can get a new one in. Or
I'm
hey,
always down
we
to
didn't
help
like
with that
this.
if you ever need help.
Well, now I'm down to 3 kegs. I only have 3 taps now.
Gotcha.
You know, yeah, it's quite a bummer. But you know, my wife didn't like the freezer that I turned into a kegerator. It looked ugly. I could have put a lot of effort into making it better, but no matter how well I insulated it and sealed it, it was a deep freeze. So it was meant to be at like -20 or 30, not like 34. So no matter what I did, I would get moisture buildup because the compressor wouldn't run long enough to actually So I was doing passive dehumidification, active dehumidification. It was just too much work. And so I spent the outrageous sum to buy a built-in, and now my new countertop in my kitchen has a built-in kegerator.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, every beer nerd that comes over, they're like, I wish I could have this. I'm like, well, that's what you get if you choose beer over having children. So
there's time for me yet.
Before you step into this beer, I will say though, we have a lot of homebrewers coming and bringing us stuff to taste.
Oh.
And out of everything that's ever been brought in, I've only had one bad beer. And I upset the person that brought it in, but I'll give my honest opinion. But everything else is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, homebrewers do some of the best beer that's out there.
Absolutely. And
Better than anything commercially that's done.
I've never had a hangover drinking homebrew either. It's
I
like
have
magic.
my buddy Corey, and I don't know if he's still brewing because he had a kid and all that, so I think he's still brewing. He brewed kind of on a scale like you did as far as knowledge, and he's been brewing for years. He's got a nice 3-tier brew system.
Yeah, I loved to brew. I was brewing a batch every week. I loved it.
He makes a cherry wheat that is out of this world. Like, I looked right at him and I says, why aren't you, like, making this? You could sell this recipe.
Like, every cherry wheat I've ever had has been shit, except Poolside. Was that from Shorts, I think? Poolside was really good.
Something like that, yeah.
But most of them, like Sam Adams, they taste like cherry syrup. They taste like cough syrup to me.
But it gets hard when you start doing volume that big. Where do you use real fruit?
Yeah,
How
exactly.
many pallets of it are you bringing in?
Like Leinenkugel.
I think they should, yes.
Leinenkugel, when they made Summer Shandy, when Summer Shandy first came out, it was fantastic because they used real lemon. Yeah. And then Miller Coors bought Leinenkugel, and they switched to using like extract, and you could taste the noticeable difference.
See,
like it was
my
gross.
buddy Jason and I found I think it was the Shandies, Leinenkugel versus Shock Top. Now he and I both like the Shock Top versions better. It tasted more lemony. It didn't taste fake. It tasted more real at the time. I don't know if that's still the case. I haven't had either of them in quite a while, but at that time, I mean, it was what it was, anyways.
All right, so let's jump into what we have here because my glass is empty.
Same.
Oh, damn.
So this one's a little bit of a special treat, and this brewery holds a special place in my heart, just because of the festivals, their artwork, and their commitment to their style. Three Floyds, once again. This one is a Dark Lord variant. I go to every Dark Lord Day festival I can and covet these variants quite heavily. I know on the resale market, they're pretty hard to find and typically very expensive. And I've, been a party to some of those sales myself, but now I just like to drink them.
So this is what, a $50 bottle?
You can't actually find it on the resale market. I looked because I actually had to ask a friend of mine. I was like, hey, do you think I should drink this bottle, or I should list it for someone else to buy? And I would guess probably about a $200 like resale if I had to list it, but that's silly. And if you pay $200 for a bottle of beer, I hope you really, really enjoy it. That's not for me, but this one, luck of the draw.
We'll let you know if it was worth $200 here in a minute.
Oh, we sure will.
I feel honored to be sampling this. Thank you, sir.
I went to the Dark Lord Festival this year for the 2023 Dark Lord Day, and they were, because they haven't had as many of them or the festivals for the last couple of years, they had a lot of like vintage Dark Lords and vintage Dark Lord variants, and they were doing a sale where they would sell, I think it was $85, and you got 2 vintage Dark Lord bottles and 2 vintage variants, which means a pretty good deal. Like, that's $20 a bottle for some incredible beer. And so I, aside from my tickets where I got my variants and my bottles, I also bought some extras and came home with this one, which is known as Pier's Javelin. And it is Dark Lord aged in River Salt barrels, which are a sweeter fortified wine from the southern wine region of France. And Dark Lord itself, the base beer before it is barrel aged, is a Russian Imperial Stout, clocking in at about 15%.
Ooh.
And I think Darrell has a little bit of information on what exactly makes a RIS, or a Russian Imperial Stout.
Well, let's do this. You
He's
go ahead
Russian,
and crack that open.
Crack
here.
it open. All
Give
right.
you this.
We can get
While
this.
you're
Hold
doing
on.
that.
Let's silence from everybody and get it right up to that microphone.
I'll do my best.
Good enough.
Sounded pretty good, though.
Yeah, I like that.
So just in case you didn't know, Russian Imperial Stouts, they're at least above an 8%. And so this one you said was 15%.
It should be.
My
15.
mouth is watering. Wow, that's dark.
They're
And thick.
dark from the roasted malts. They should be full
Look at the
body.
head on that thing. Oh my god.
Nice and creamy mouthfeel. You should have notes of chocolate, coffee, maybe some dark fruit in there. So let's see what we get here. I mean, it looks really good.
If
Nice head on it.
If it is true to form with a lot of Dark Lord styles. Sorry, I'm trying to pour while I'm next to my mic here. If it is true to form with a lot of Dark Lord, a lot of times you get kind of that soy sauce characteristic. It's kind of known for that.
Wow.
Let's get our tasting
Smells
notes in
good.
here.
Oh man.
And while you're checking it out, too, Russian Imperial Stouts, kind of from the 18th century. It was actually made in England and exported to Russia, to Catherine the Great in Russia. That's the reason why it's called the Russian Imperial Stout.
You know, and the English are credited with creation of so many like modern styles. You know, like the IPA and things like that. And why can't they make any good beer now? What happened, England? Come on, step it up.
Oh my gosh. $200 would be underrated.
Yeah.
It's extremely rich, first of all. Like, it hits the characteristics you mentioned, like, you know, that heavy mouth feel, that just rich quality. It's not overly sweet, which I'm kind of surprised about, because the wine barrels are a fortified sweet wine, and Dark Lord itself normally has kind of sweet, but this is a 2020 bottle.
It's a very soft mouthfeel.
It's smooth. You can tell it's aged out. It all blends together. Very nice. Kind of has like a little. It does have a sweetness on the back end, though.
Yeah.
It's very sticky. Like, you can feel it like sticking to your glass.
And everything else. I mean, look at what the legs on it. Is it?
But if someone said to you, like, how many, you know, what alcohol percentage would you guess this is?
I would guess it's high. I mean, it's on the back end. There's that burn from it a little bit.
I'd also say high, but I wouldn't say 15%.
I'd say maybe like 11.
It's not as boozy as the.
Doesn't taste boozy at all.
No. Oh my god, that's fantastic.
It's got like all the flavors are kind of like light. It doesn't like nothing really kind of.
There's
like
nothing
stands
overpowering.
On its own. Yeah. It's a little sweet, little smoky. I don't get any of the soy sauce type characteristic that some Dark Lords have.
I don't get a lot of that. I get like I want to call it a soft chocolate, if that makes any sense at all.
But I do feel really bad for our listeners because we're not doing this beer any justice.
No,
by trying to explain this.
It's you definitely have to try it if you can find it.
Yeah.
Because I can't find it online. Now this is again a 2020 bottle, so like it is.
Have you tried eBay like we discussed last episode?
No, I didn't even know you could sell alcohol on eBay.
You can't.
You have to name it something else.
Oh yeah. Well, I have a friend
For collection
a friend who sells
only.
like tobacco memorabilia and things, and like he can't sell like a 40-year-old pack of cigarettes on there, but
So-
he can sell a camel hat.
Yeah,
You know.
I mentioned the bottle of Infinium last episode. We were talking about it. I think I paid like $30 for that, and I felt bad because it cost a dude. I think it cost him more to ship it to me than I paid for it.
Yeah, I always charge the person shipping.
But I felt really bad because eBay flagged it after he shipped it as a restricted item. Canceled the transaction. I got a full refund.
Yeah, but you still got your beer.
Yeah, and I messaged, and the dude got blocked because of it, so I couldn't even message him. I was going to send him.
So,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I
I
feel
feel
bad.
really bad about this, but I want to step out for a second because
Okay.
my dad's here, and this is so good. I don't want to drink all of it without him.
Well,
pour him a
let's
glass.
pause it,
pour him
and
a
we'll
glass.
get him out here, and we'll get him to speak.
He won't talk on this.
Well,
We'll try.
We'll
We'll see
lie
what
and we'll
happens.
tell him we're not recording it.
Yeah, there's enough left in there to pour him a glass. Pour him the rest of it.
Yeah, we can't let him miss out on this.
No.
He's here,
No,
so.
this is phenomenal.
Well,
do
I've
we
got a
want
lot
to
of-
try and make him say something without that?
Pause it real quick.
Okay.
All right, there we go.
Here's to you, Mr. High Gravity Podcast listener, the warrior in the battle of life who's not afraid to take a break, kick back, and pop open a cold one. You've had a day of nonstop emails, endless meetings, and deadlines that never seem to end. But here you are, beer in hand, ready to dive into the deep, malty world of craft brewing. And by God, you deserve it. You're not just a casual drinker. Oh no. You're the beer aficionado, the lager lover, the ale advocate. You relish the sound of a freshly cracked beer, the sudsy pour into your favorite chilled glass, the first sip that says, congratulations, you made it through another day. So cheers to you, Mr. High Gravity Podcast listener. Because when life gets tough, you know there's always a great beer waiting at the end of the day, and damn it, that's something to be proud of. And remember, in the world of brewing, the beer glass is always half full.
If you did. So this right here, I want you to try this. That's why we stopped the podcast. I actually announced that we're stopping the podcast. So this Dark Lord variant, 2020, Russian Imperial Stout.
Come over here and say that, though. Try it from here.
Yeah, but you're not recording right now. I don't even have a headset on. And I really got to pee.
That's all right. So have a seat. We want you to be able to relax and get the full experience of what you're trying here.
He's going to hate you guys.
Yeah, I already don't like them.
Yeah, this one's a little bit of a special beer. Like you kind of more or less get it in a lottery, because when you get your variants, you don't get to pick them. You just I want this many, and that's what you get.
All right, Russian Imperial Stout from 2020.
No, 2018.
No,
Or
2020.
no, that was the other one.
Yeah, that was the
2018. My
other
bad. Yeah.
Nope. You can't find it. You said it was about $200 for the bottle.
If I resold it, it'd be
Yes.
I'd probably list it for
How much
$250.
is that worth, right? I got right there.
About $50.
A lot. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't find it to verify it, but that's what I would list it for. I'd probably put it up for $250, and I would take $200. But
Oh my God.
I also don't care about that. I'd
It's
rather just drink it.
Smooth,
Yeah.
solid, really good.
It's aged in French wine barrels, like
Would
a
you like to
fortified
explain to
wine.
everyone what you taste? There you go. Right
Just
in there.
talk.
Not really, but it's definitely a heavy taste, but it's smooth.
Yes.
You got some dark roast in there, caramel. Yeah, very smooth.
What are you getting? Any notes of chocolate are you getting
It's
on
all
it?
chocolate, definitely, yeah.
I call it like a soft chocolate. I can't explain it any other way.
It's
It's like,
blended pretty good, though.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
the,
my God.
The
yeah.
more it kind of warms up a little bit, the more I kind of get that sweet wine.
Yeah.
You got to drink this beer warmer.
Oh,
for
yeah.
Sure. For
Yeah.
me, anyways.
So I normally
Dark
don't.
Beer's warm.
Yeah, I normally don't like warm beers, but this is. It like I said in the last episode, it amazes me how much a beer changes when it warms up just a little bit.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Ooh, excuse me.
It's definitely strong, but yeah, I really get that wine characteristic now.
Yeah. Yeah, the more it warms up and breathes, it's opening that up a lot more.
And not that I've had reap salts, fortified sweet wines. Not a wine connoisseur from the southern region of France, but I like what I like, and it's usually just dry white wine. So
Yeah.
a sweet fortified wine would probably not make my list. But hey, if you want to
It's
put
fantastic.
if you want to put a 15% Russian Imperial Stout in that barrel, then maybe it comes out to be something I like.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, the Dark Lord Day Festival, I don't know if we wanted to discuss that at all.
We can. The only thing, just an official. Are you okay if I use this in the podcast? Your
Sure.
contributions. Excellent. Thank you.
Doesn't matter. We're using it.
I didn't swear at all, so we're
Oh, you can say whatever the fuck you want to
Don't
say.
fucking swear.
Oh, there we go. There's the first
It
one.
started.
There's that E check mark now.
You couldn't hear me though. I didn't have the mic.
We were good on last episode with the F-bombs, but this one we've had a couple of Imperials now.
Last
so-
episode was actually really good and
Oh yeah.
clean.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we did all right.
We
we'll
did,
see,
we did.
We'll toot our own horn. But that's just because I'm married, and that's the only one tooting it.
Don't worry, the next one's going to get a lot worse.
I can't play this game.
Oh.
Okay,
But-
I'm going to take my beer with me.
All right, enjoy.
Thank you for your contribution, sir.
We'll
Much
have,
appreciated.
we'll have to make sure all the good stuff we'll bring you in on if we get any more good stuff.
So if you like mead, I have a mead and a braggot for the next episode.
All right, I'll taste them.
I
Stay
can't
tuned
promise
for
I'll
the next
leave any.
episode. And these have been
In
Beer
20
Bits
minutes.
by Darrel. That's our we should have him come in for like the guest judging segment.
every other segment. What'd you call it? Notes by Darrel.
Yeah, the beer notes by Darrel, something like that.
I love it. I love it. Let's do it.
Beer data with Darrel. And it'll confuse them too because there's two Darrels.
Darrel and Darrel, my other brother Darrel.
You said there wasn't another brother Darrel.
There's a father Darrel. It was a joke.
Yeah.
Maybe you're too young.
I made a joke to you. I said, but you're Darrel. Is there another brother
Yes.
Darrel? And you're like, no, it's just my dad. I'm like, oh, well, that ruined the joke.
So this beer here, as mentioned before, being Dark Lord, Dark Lord Day is a festival that Three Floyds would throw every year.
This alcohol, again, the further I'm down in here, that alcohol bite at the end is like really mellowing out and it's almost gone.
Yeah.
I don't want to drink anymore. I want it to warm up first so I can taste the new
I
flavors
think
coming
there's-
out.
there's-
You hold your glass and shake it.
There's still a touch left in the bottle. Whoever finishes theirs first gets the last drink.
Fair enough.
Don't challenge me to a drinking contest, my friend.
Well,
Okay.
at the bottle shares we have a friend who will always if
No.
there's any Dark Lord bottles that have beer left in it, he goes through and finishes them because he
were talking about that,
refuses
yeah.
to disrespect the Dark Lord.
I'm
And
the same way.
appreciate him.
I'm the same way.
I appreciate
Yep.
that. Some bottles can be left to rot and be dumped down the sink, but Dark Lord,
like,
you have to get tickets for the festival, and you have to get lucky.
Yeah.
There are certain variants.
oh, I'm out. I'm not getting
There are certain variants that I'll bring in later. Those are more exciting. Like once we start to get into the marshmallow hangy or the chemtrail mix, like
Marshmallow.
What? You heard the same thing.
as in like a Johhny or a gin.
Sure, sure.
HANDJEE.
Not like-
Not what we're thinking.
Not a hand.
Not a handy.
It's not that good of a beer.
Also known as an old fashioned. But anyway, back on the rails. We find ourselves at the Dark Lord Day Festival, and you have to buy tickets to get in. And we used to, set up every device we had. Like me and my friends would get together at one place, and we'd have our laptops, our tablets, our phones, our computers. Everything is set up, even our work computers. We're all in queue to get tickets. Because the tickets, if you're not in queue, and you try to join 2 minutes after the sale starts, you don't get them. Now they've started doing, if you were at the previous festival, you get early
Priority?
access tickets.
Nice.
So that's been really nice. I don't have to wait online. But we always get the tickets to the festival. They're usually $200 per ticket. You're allowed to buy two.
Wow.
You get a badge that allows you in and your guest. And so a lot of times, we'll partner off, I'll be your guest and you're my guest. So we go through the line twice together.
Nice.
And they give you your allotments.
That's awesome.
Traditionally, it was 4 bottles of Dark Lord and a variant. That's what you got for your ticket. This last year, they've started to figure out that, because of the secondary market,
Yeah.
they want to kind of, bring that around. So they're doing more variants and less standard Dark Lord, which I appreciate because I've been part of the secondary market, and talking about how much this bottle could be worth. I mean, that's 100% speculation, and I've made money in that way too, and I think that it's better for people to just enjoy the beer than to resell it. And I know that a lot of people can't make it to the festival, they've got obligations or whatever, so they want to be able to buy them secondary, and I think that's fine too. But
So their festival's still going on even with taproom closed?
yes.
Oh.
Yep. So even though the tap room's
That's
closed, so the store is still open, and they open up the store the day before for the festival, and it's closed the day of because it's just too busy. And this year was particularly fun because they had the booth, like I mentioned, where you could buy random variants and vintage Dark Lords. So I
Nice.
bought a lot of them. I think I came home with 30 bottles of Dark Lord.
Nice.
Dark Lord and Dark Lord variants, and which was fantastic. And they even had this wheel that you could spin, like Price is Right style. And it was a line as long as the eye could see until closing time. And this was like 12 hours this thing's going on. But you could spin the wheel, and it was like $20 or $25 to spin the wheel. But no matter what, you either won a bottle of Dark Lord, or you might win 3 bottles of Dark Lord, or you might win a variant that was on the list, or there was even one, a very small sliver, the kind of grand prize, if you will, that you got to pick 3 vintage variants of your own.
Wow.
And
cool.
as I mentioned, the marshmallow hangy and the chemtrail mix have always been traditionally super popular.
Yeah.
Chemtrail mix is aged with like cinnamon and whatnot, and then pink peppercorn or something. It's fantastic. But the whole festival is kind of set around the metal show, seeing the metal bands. And this year, I got to see Cannibal Corpse. Which for me,
I've heard of them.
Yeah, I'm an old school metalhead.
Yeah.
You know, like I say old school as in, I've been a metalhead for like 30 years, and like even when I started listening to metal, Cannibal Corpse was an established brand, if you will. They were, well known, and so to get to see these guys in their mid 50s up there just absolutely crushing it was a fantastic experience.
Yeah.
But just really the draw for us throughout the years, for why we always went, was the bottle share. Like, I wanted to give it a little froth for you there. There you go. Yeah, Darrel's snapping a picture of the beer here. I wanted to
send it to me. I'll put it on the Facebook page.
We
have a Facebook page, by the way.
No, we'll have to check it out. Search High Gravity, right?
Yes.
So the reason we would really love to go to the festivals, it's bottle share because you're allowed to bring in beers.
Oh.
And so this draws people from all over the country, and people would bring local highlights from their area, and you just kind of stand there with your friends in a circle holding whatever bottle you're sharing. And if people walk by and they're like, oh, that's interesting, I want to try that, they'll come up to you and be like, hey, I've got this, do you want to try this? And I want to try that.
Oh, nice.
And you just stand there with strangers with your little glass, and everyone pours you beers, and you share, and you might hang out for 30, 40 minutes, and then say, okay, well, we're gonna head on, and then you move on, and you just keep making these connections, and you get to try all this super interesting regional beers.
And that's the craft beer situation scenario. I mean,
And that's why we love it.
I remember growing up, my mom always told me, don't talk to strangers. If they offer you food, don't eat it. And here we are going to festivals like, oh, that looks good. Can I have some?
And I've never actually, all the times I've been there, I never actually thought about like, oh, well, someone could put something in this.
Oh, yeah.
And funny enough, this year alone, we went to sit in this little grassy area and kind of relax and have some lunch. And these dudes that were sitting there had a bottle. I can't remember what it was. It was something that, we were interested in trying. And he's like, you can try this stuff. He said, but this bottle, he's like, this one's actually been dosed with acid.
Oh, whoa.
And like,
at least they told you.
Yeah, I was saying, yeah,
exactly. I was like, thankfully.
Yeah.
Because like, and then in the back of my mind,
come true.
in the back of my mind, I'm like, I would really like to do some acid. That sounds like a really good time. But like, I'm at this beer festival. It's a metal festival. There's
High Gravity
all these
does not
people.
recommend the use of controlled substances or drugs.
No LSD for anyone. But like, because I'd never done acid before.
Until that day.
And I decided not to. Because I was like, maybe this isn't the best situation because the friends I'm with are, very much beer people.
I'm really confused. When is the best situation? Like
when you're around other people who are into doing hallucinogens, who understand the consequences of what you're doing. Because if you're the only one high on acid,
shit. Now, come on.
If you're the only one high on acid around a bunch of people, that's going to be terrifying.
I would imagine. I know the fucked up shit in my head. I don't want to visualize it. That's why
And you have no idea how much is in there, how strong it is. Like
closest I've ever come. I tried the truly illegal absinthe, the stuff that's illegal in the U.S.
The wormwood. And,
I tried the real stuff one time, and it was in this guy's signature drink, and it was a phenomenal drink. It was called an absinthe frappe. The bar, he doesn't work there anymore, but that was this dude's signature drink at bartending school he had to design. It was a phenomenal drink. I didn't hallucinate from anything of it, but it was the real absinthe, and I
heard the hallucinations are largely overstated.
Yeah.
You have to drink a lot of it. Yeah. But so here's
Unless
the thing.
there's acid in it.
There are different levels. There is an absinthe you can buy in the U.S. that's legal here. But there's like 2 or 3 other kinds depending where you get it from, and the percentage of wormwood changes.
I heard the original recipe for absinthe is lost, so a lot of what we have is kind of an interpretation of what they think it was.
There's one guy, I remember watching a video on this a while back, and he's what they believe to be is the closest person who's come to finding the real recipe that there is. But there's different percentages you can buy, and I have a friend, and maybe I could get him to tell the story. Keith told the story on our old podcast. So basically, he had a younger brother. His younger brother, before he could really drink, was still an alcohol enthusiast. And he found somebody in another country to ship him a bunch of bottles of absinthe and some other stuff that was illegal in the United States. All was fine, good and dandy. However, when the UPS guy had dropped the package off on the porch, one of the bottles broke.
The package off, yeah.
Yes.
As soon as you said that, I'm like, oh no.
Leaking a green fluid. He skipped out of school early to get home before his mom got home. Not knowing she got home early from work that
Mom,
day.
it's just antifreeze. I ordered antifreeze on the internet.
Oh, no, she got
Why?
there. She saw the green leaking fluid, opened it up, and it was all these, like, several $100s in liquor bottles that this high school kid had bought.
No.
When he got home, she was in the kitchen pouring them all down the drain.
You fucked up now, son.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think. I guess it depends on how old I was. I don't think my parents would have freaked out, but they definitely would have been mad at me. Like it was, like I was a good kid. You know, I didn't party. I didn't do a lot of shit. I mean, I smoked a little pot when I was a teenager here and there, but like my parents smoked pot since they were teenagers. So you know, like, but I did my schoolwork. I showed up, never really drank. So if a bunch of liquor showed up on my front porch, they'd be like, "What's this?" And be like, "I ordered a bunch of booze." Why? You can't order booze. Like, we're taking this. But they wouldn't dump it out. I'm willing to bet that on my 21st birthday, that booze would have come out and be like, "Happy birthday, here's all the booze you bought."
Finally aged and of higher quality.
See, for my parents, I think it depends on which brother I was. So the oldest one, they probably would beat the shit out of me.
Well, you are the oldest one.
The youngest one, they'd
They
be
just
like,
didn't
whatever,
care.
just take it. Go to your room.
Just don't drive.
I'm the youngest one as well. Like,
Oh,
so-
I'm-
but
That
an
explains
oldest.
it. There you go.
Yeah.
That's why.
Well, I'm the oldest as well.
yeah.
me and my sister always describe my brother as the golden child, though, because like my parents both have dark hair, and me and my sister both have dark hair, but my brother had light hair, like blondish, sandy blonde. 'Cause
That's my youngest brother.
yeah, when my dad was young, his hair was light and he grew out of it, and it turned really dark. But my brother's never got like super dark. It eventually like a sandy brown. But so we always called him the golden child because he was the middle child, so we had to give him a hard time. But he still beat the shit out of me. So I mean, like, no, never anything too bad. He always came to bat for me because as the youngest, I could run my mouth, and I sure as fuck did. And so it was good to have a brother who was, bigger than me, but also was like into weightlifting and shit like that.
See, I was never like a fighter or any of that.
Me neither.
I am known amongst every circle as kind of the calm and docile kind of person. I've been in one fight my entire life. I got a black eye out of it. That dude, his ribs and jaw were hurting for about 3 weeks after. I didn't even know I hit him. It was my buddy's 21st birthday. Long of the story short, we were all annihilated.
As you do when you turn 21.
Oh yeah, we were camping.
Or 19 when you live in Port Huron.
We don't
were-
condone fighting either.
No.
No
we
violence.
we were camping at my buddy's house for his birthday. I'm gonna leave a number of details out here. Excuse me. Sure.
Beer's that good.
Yeah, if you gotta take a leak, just go take a leak.
Okay. You want me to take my microphone with me?
Not particularly, but I'm gonna keep telling the story though, so you're missing out. So when you
I'll
get
keep
back,
listening.
just catch up. Okay, thank you, Darrell. Somebody appreciates my story. So, buddy's 21st birthday. We're camping and we're drinking, and I'm usually the oldest one in the crowds to hang out with, so I'm like the one who can legally drink, and now he can. And this guy, I'm gonna withhold a lot of the names here. This particular guy was a friend of another friend of ours from work that he brought out. Long of the story short, these guys were like wrestling in the yard. They bulldozed the side of my brand new tent, knocked it over, broke a bunch of the poles, and I had to sleep in this thing that night. And I pulled him out. I'm like, dude, fuck you doing? You just broke my brand new fucking tent. Get out of here. I turned to walk back to the fire to keep drinking, as one does. The dude decked me from behind, knocked me on the ground, and started just wailing on my face. And I normally carry a knife, and I had my hand on it in my pocket thinking, if this dude doesn't get off me, I'm going to have to use this. This is not going to be good. There's going to be cops. There's going to be reports. I'm going to probably get put in handcuffs and taken somewhere for the night. I don't want to do that. And I was
At
screaming.
least you would have had a place to sleep in that tent.
Yeah,
wasn't broken,
yeah,
so.
exactly. And I started screaming, somebody get this motherfucker off me before I kill him. And about 30 minutes. I'm leaving that in, I don't care. And everybody knows me as, again, kind of a calm, quiet, reserved person. And I unfortunately interrupted my buddy and his girlfriend in their tent on his birthday, and you can figure out why he was disappointed. But they came out of the...
They call you Johnny Orange, but they should call you Johnny Blue Balls.
They do not. But no, they came out of the tent to see this dude sitting on me, beating the shit out of me. and they pulled the guy off. And, we just kind of left the night. I had a black eye the next day, but that's the only fight I've ever been in. And I remember swinging. I didn't know I connected. And I was talking to the friend that brought this guy to this party. And he's like, yeah, apparently, like, his ribs and his jaw were hurting for, like, 3 or 4 weeks after.
Yeah.
I'm like, cool, I got some hits in. I didn't even know I
will say,
connected.
though, one of the nicest, friendliest guys that I know is Johhny right here.
Well, thank you, sir.
Such a nice guy. I don't see you swinging at all, ever.
Well,
Most
unless we're at
people-
the park and we're on the swings.
No, that is just going down. No, that's, I generally try to be that way. And there's only one person who's ever said, and I just got to point out, hold your glass up for a second there, Alice. I want to point this out. The fact that these glasses have been empty for probably 10, 15 minutes at this point.
That's why I'm trying to wrap this up so we can get to the next honey meeting.
You can still see the legs on the glass
Yeah,
from this. Like, this is impressive.
The glass looks like it's stained amber.
Yeah,
from the
that's
stout.
awesome.
It's so sticky. And I gotta say, I have to apologize to my fellow podcast members for not bringing 2 bottles of Dark Lord because I didn't think it would go that fast, but it is.
Oh, it's okay.
Gone.
But you have more?
I have so much more Dark Lord and variants. Like,
We greatly appreciate you sharing this.
well,
Truly, thank you.
this podcast will have a lot of Dark Lord and variants on it because
We'll
we're
be
going to
doing
drink
3
through my
Floyds
collection.
for a while then.
I need to drink through one. I keep telling my friends, I'm like, we have regular bottle shares where we'll bring unique and weird things. And I said, the next one, we're just going to have a stout day because I have so many bottles of Imperial Stouts in my closet that we just need to drink. And it's, yeah. Oh, of course.
Come on.
That's why we started the podcast.
Yeah.
So we could drink his beer.
Yeah.
Please do. I've been
In
collecting
2
it for
years, though, we're going to be
years.
like out. We're going to have to start going to like modern.
Well, when I go to the next Dark Lord Day Festival, probably in May, I'll just make sure I buy 60 bottles and we'll be good to go.
I'll throw some cash in on that.
So I'll go too. We'll all get some.
Hell yeah.
God, that'd be great. You guys should definitely come with my friends because
Oh, no, never mind.
you're gonna love Senpai. You're gonna love Dan Lee.
Let's wrap this up because I don't see this conversation getting much better here.
We know we rent an Airbnb. I'll bring a bunch of eggs from my chickens, and someone else will bring some bacon, and we have bacon and eggs every morning, and then
I like cooking.
Go drink
We
all
can do
day.
this.
I like eating.
Yeah, there's
Oh yeah, come on.
around Munster. There's not a lot, but this
Oh,
last time
do
we
they
went,
have
there's-
cheese?
I don't know. Is that where Munster cheese comes from, Johhny? It's
I don't know.
not. It's not Wisconsin.
I thought that was named after the TV show, The Munsters. I don't know.
I give you history on it, but I'm a beer person, so can't help it.
There's a lot more breweries and stuff out there now than there ever has been.
Oh,
So
for
we
sure.
got to experience a lot of really good stuff, a lot of really good food. Like the focus of these trips is always just eat really good and drink really good. We don't go to any sort of chain
Oh
restaurants or
damn!
anything.
No other focus in eating and drinking. I mean,
Yep. And we're good at both those things. So we tend
oh,
to
I can keep up.
we got to be well practiced.
Absolutely. Well, what do you say we call it and see what happens next time?
Sounds good.
Alrighty.
All right,
Thanks
great.
for listening.
See you guys.
If you didn't learn anything today, at least remember this. Beer's the answer that makes everything better.
Can't remember the question, but who cares when you have a cold one in your hand?
Remember, everybody, drink responsibly, drink high gravity.
Most importantly, drink well.
Okay, not the well. Life's too short for bad beers.
Stay frosty, my friends.
friends.